Hey everyone, it's Rhiannon. Welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be all about how do you actually get started in witchcraft. This is a video that has been long awaited to be updated on my channel. I did do a video way back when. I'll link to the cards up above as well as the description box down below of my original video of, I think it was titled Witchcraft Beginning Your Path, and I do want you to still go watch that video if you have not seen it. It was before I changed my name on my YouTube channel, so don't get confused if I called myself Desi. And it has a lot of good information in that video still, so definitely go watch it still, and I will have in the description box any of my disclaimers if anything that I believe in has changed since then. I'm not going to delete any of my videos from the past if there's something I don't agree with that I used to do, because I do find this is like an online diary for me, and it is a live grimoire where I update my growth, and so that you guys can see that you don't have to be perfect either, that you can grow as you're learning and change and adapt as you learn new things and align them into your belief system. So definitely don't feel bad if you've changed your beliefs in the past and feel like you have to stick to your old belief system because you've told people about it. It's definitely not something you need to do. But yeah, let's get into this video. I'm really excited. I have so many videos to link you guys to. So make sure you take some notes and grab something to snack on, a notebook, and maybe something to drink, and let's dive into this video. So what really prompted this video for me is I was looking on YouTube for content ideas, and I noticed there's this one channel that I do enjoy. They are a newer practitioner, like I think under 2 years. Nothing wrong with that, by the way. But I do find that they are trying to teach at this point where they're still not conveying even the basics of disclaiming that the type of practice they're coming from. They're teaching as if it's a broad spectrum of, they're teaching as if it is a broad spectrum of witchcraft, when they are actually pulling from a lot of influences of Wicca. Instead of disclaiming that, they are just like, this is what witchcraft is. And I definitely want to debunk that so that there's no confusion going forward for any of you who are starting and are newer. Also, I recently refreshed my hair, so if you see the red or pink on my hands, I'm fine. I redyed my hair myself, and it's always messy. So there's some main key things that I wanted to cover on here to kind of debunk the things that they were saying, and hopefully this video does well and gets picked up. Please share it because I do want the correct information to go out there, and I'm not shaming them for not knowing better, but I do want to urge people who want to teach to be careful, and this is saying this to myself as well. Before, when I first started, this was not a teaching channel, and I had to go back through my archive of videos and update the description notes as well on that, as well as the pinned comments, so that you guys all know that this is all from experience in that current time. And then just so you guys know, going forward, everything on my channel is from my current experience in the moment, and I am allowing myself to grow as I grow. But I've made the mistake myself before, as I said before in me discovering my Finding Your Path video. I know that there's something I've changed in my personal Gnosis where it comes to protection magic and not believing in needing to do it for my personal self. That is something that's thus far changed, and it was a little bit more of just a confidence thing that I needed to go through to know that I am confident in handling things myself, and that was just the thing I needed to learn myself. However, I do believe in protection magic very much now, and I definitely do not suggest anybody get into anything without actually first learning the basics, including protection, warding, and banishing. What are the things that you need to do to start beginning your witchcraft journey? Now, like I said, go back to that older video. There's a lot of good tidbits in there, but there are 7 things that are the main things I would like you to focus on. And this is something that I wish I had done in the beginning. Number 1 is energy work. Energy work is basically where you start to learn how to control your internal life force, the force that you are using to tap into to then manifest your goals. So you want to start learning how to ground yourself, learning to meditate, to control the energy throughout your body. I actually did do a video on grounding, centering, and earthing and the differences between those. So definitely check that out. I will link it up here. And that will kind of give you a basis of how you can start to work with moving the energy throughout your body and how to actually master the energy within yourself and move it around. And eventually it's how you're going to learn how to project it into the world. Number 2 is protection. Now, I would suggest checking out this video up here in the cards, the basics of protection magic, where I go into it a little bit further in what I specifically do. And if you have any questions at all after watching that or after this video, definitely comment down below. I am extremely active within the first 24 to 48 hours, and then even after that I do try to check on all my comments quite often so that I am still contacting you guys and interacting, and you guys are getting your answers when you're able to. If it's from an older video, definitely make sure to comment on my most recent video. That's the more likely way I'm going to be able to see your comments from an older past video. It doesn't matter if it doesn't pertain to that specific video, just let me know what video you're coming from and then I'll definitely answer you back. Protection begins for me with circle casting when it comes to ritual work. So this comes a lot from Wicca, but there is lots of traditions that use circle casting or protection doming. There is the option of the 3 rings of protection, or also known as the 3 blue rings of protection, and that's something I do want to do a video on later on. Or in some traditions it's called hollowing the compass. This is basically creating sacred space, and basically it's like a invisible door for your protective space so that nothing can come in to where you are while you are in your working. So nothing can influence your working, so that energy builds up and is not influenced, and then when you release your circle, your spell is cast out into the world and it is safe to then do its working. I used to not believe that circle casting was necessary. However, as of late, I have noticed that even though I've had protections throughout my home, I still have issues with spirits. So that is something that I'm going to get into later. Maybe I can do a vlog. Let me know down in the comments below if you want to see a vlog about how I'm updating my wards. I won't give major specifics, but I definitely will share my experiences and let you know the things that are working. You can cast energetically with your hand, with a wand, with any type of tool, an acme, whatever you choose. You can do it just purely through your mind. You can cast with salt, like black salt or white salt, sand, whatever you find is protective, depending on your correspondence. And you can kind of do this in combination, in any combination with each other, or just pick one. You can also protect your space with sigils on all 4 corners of your room, as well as the roof and the floor, and that's something that can stay active and working at all times, and you just update it as you go throughout the month. That's actually something that came to mind when I was doing my notes for this video, and I thought it would be really interesting for me to apply that into my own practice as well. Now, I won't go like fully in depth on how to actually cast a circle and calling in like your protective guards. That is a little bit of something of a different video, but if you're interested in that, definitely leave a comment down below and a like, and maybe like a thumbs up emoji, and let me know, and I'll definitely get that video out as soon as possible if it's something that's really popular. Another thing you can do for protection magic is wearing things like crystals, crystal jewelry, charmed jewelry for protection. This is something that I was thinking about in one of my latest videos. I'll link it here if I can find it, of even just a psychic protection. So if you're someone who's very sensitive, which a lot of practitioners are, a lot of us are also very psychic, so veiling yourself is another form of protection, and that's something that I'm exploring for myself as well. You can wear sigils, which is also another creative way. So you can draw them on in your body oil or in your lotions, or even in like eyeliner marker. That's something that I do a lot on my wrist when I'm at work. The next thing that I want you to focus on is understanding personal gnosis and what that is. Now, if you don't understand what personal gnosis is, what it is basically somebody's opinion that they have created as correspondence for themselves or a belief system for themselves. Now, a lot of people on social media these days are sharing their personal gnosis, their personal opinion of things before really thinking about it, and it's coming across as fact and as something that is vetted and is something that is like widely across, like spread across, that is like accepted as something that is viable, something that will work for your ritual, something that is powerful. And with that said, that can be really dangerous, because if somebody gives their personal gnosis of, for example, let's use mine, for example, because I'm going to hold myself accountable here. Before I realized I was going to be an educational channel as well as just sharing my journey, I was sharing my personal opinion without actually like verifying to others that it is my personal gnosis of like not needing protections for myself because it empowered me not to. And in that moment, that was totally true for me. But that could be dangerous for other people who view that and say, oh, I don't need protections, and then something negative happens. So hopefully nothing like that happened, and I will definitely create the measures to avoid that from happening on my channel, to put it all in the areas where people can see it. Maybe even updating the title a little bit, but that is an example of personal gnosis. So you want to make sure that you're not taking people's opinions as fact, as Lord and reigning over everything. You know, it's take it with a grain of salt is what I'm saying. And you need to learn how to detect those things and cross-reference with other people and other published books that are respected, and cross-reference those things. For example, if you're looking at a correspondence, if no other books that are published out there are saying that this is, for example, rose is for creativity, that would be a personal gnosis. Rose is very well known for love and sensuality and romance. It's also known for protection with its thorns. And you know, for somebody else, I think the Witch of the Southern Light was saying his personal gnosis, his personal correspondence for, I think, Rose was actually like a death plant, I believe I remember correctly. Correct me down in the comments below if I'm misremembering, but I remember listening to their podcast, and I think they said that they had a correspondence for this specific rose plant that they were working with was actually telling them the spirit is actually of death and regeneration, I believe. So that's an example of gnosis there. So hopefully it all makes sense. Let me know if I confused you down in the comments, but hopefully I was clear. The next one is, there is no such thing as dark magic and light magic, white magic or black magic. Though white magic and black magic is actually a very racist term in my personal opinion, and there's actually history to back that up, and I can definitely do a video. I actually have one in the works and being planned right now about that. So I will create a video about that in the future, about why there is no such thing as white magic and black magic. Magic is magic. Energy is energy. And it's just like, I use this as an example all the time. You can take a hammer and build a house with it, but you can also take a hammer and hit somebody over the head with it and rob them. It's not going to be an evil hammer because it's from the dark energies. This is an evil hammer. That's not like that. It's a tool. Energy is a tool, manifestation, and magic is a tool, and you can use it for good or evil depending on your intentions with it. Okay, so this is something that is also really problematic that I wanted to address, that I saw, and it was called the Law of Innocence, or the Protection of Innocence. I think it's called something along those lines. And It's basically promoting this dogma that if you don't have as much information, if you're not as keen on what occultism is, and you're more like green or a newbie, less educated, that you have more like spiritual protection. And I'm just going to call it here, and you know, it's their personal gnosis, but I am going to say it's BS, because that is just promoting the ideology that if you are not educated, you are protected, which is creating an ideology of ignorance, which is not good. It's not safe for anyone. If you are so ignorant as to walk down a dark alley and not know or be taught throughout your life to be aware of your surroundings and be cautious, and you know, not walk with music in your ears and look around you and be careful, then you would be more likely to be jumped by someone who's following you for the last 4 blocks, as opposed to somebody who knows to be a little bit more aware of their surroundings, if that makes sense. So I hope people who are watching this take that with heart. I'm not trying to be bitchy about it. I'm just trying to keep people safe. You can't protect yourself from something that you don't know about. And you know, I want people to be honestly careful, because I, in my experience, have actually known nothing about the occult when I was younger, and have been a victim of a lot of things on the spiritual plane. And I know a lot of people in my family have, and a lot of people I know in personal relationships that have, and they know nothing of the occult. And actually, the experiences that I had were things that actually spurred me to actually start looking into occultism and witchcraft and paganism and what all those things were, because I was on a search for what the heck was victimizing me. I was on a search for things that, why am I knowing these things to happen before they happen? I was on a search for, why am I being spiritually attacked in my sleep? I'm a good person. I don't do evil things. Why is that happening? Why would spirit allow that to happen? It's because I didn't know how to protect myself. Spirit can be there if you ask for help, but you also need to know how to protect yourself and help yourself as well. The next thing I would suggest is looking into the different types of witchcraft paths there are. There are many different kinds. There are things that are more religio-magic, where, for example, like Wicca would be a religion that is centered around witchcraft and is used within its religion. Then there are things that are not religious based at all, and they're traditional witchcraft. They are based off of like deep history in the occult. And then there are things that are a little bit more connected to your ancestry. For example, for me, I am a Celtic folk witch at the moment, and that means that I'm working with the Celtic deities, I'm working with the Celtic like pantheon and its folklore, and I'm creating a practice for myself with that history that I have from the folklore and the stories that I am sourcing online. Many different types. There's many different types of traditions. What I would say is, when you're looking for a tradition, make sure if it is a religious connection, I would suggest not doing something that is a closed practice. The only thing that you really need to actually do to be a decent person when it comes to being a witch or a practitioner of magic is don't appropriate other people's cultures. So don't do like a closed practice if it's closed, right? So if you're not being brought into that fold, that's something that you kind of want to avoid, is not to appropriate other people's cultures. The next thing that I want to touch on is that you don't need to work with deity to be a witch. Deity is a little bit more so in the side of paganism. However, I do know a lot of witches that do work with deity, and they are not a religious practitioner. And they have more of a working relationship where they're learning from each other, they're learning from their deity, and in turn they do something for that deity as an offering. And that's totally fine. The only thing is, do not enter into closed practiced deity work. So if you want to be a witch but not work with deity, then that's totally fine. However, if you want to, that's okay too. Even if you're not a pagan, you can work with deity. It's more of like a working relationship. But if you also want to have that religious aspect as well, that's totally cool. Alright, so that's the video for today. I hope I covered everything. If you guys thought of something that is important to know when you first start witchcraft, definitely comment down below, and I'm open to your suggestions, and if there's enough comments on things I've missed, I can always do a part 2. I also do want you guys to check out another video that I don't know if I mentioned in the beginning, so I'll link it here if I forgot. It is how do spells work. Now this is a lot of my own personal gnosis, and it's something that you can't really ever confirm. So it's something that you have to kind of like develop for yourself on how you believe spells work. But this is just the basis of like the language that I've put to how I understand how energy and manifestation works and witchcraft and spells. No matter what you call it, no matter what words or language that you use, magic still works, and it's the same way. No matter how you describe it, it may make sense to you to describe it one way, whereas for me it makes sense to describe it in the way that I do. So that is the video, my loves. I hope you enjoyed it. Please share this with other fellow new practitioners that are on the journey to discovering themselves and their witchcraft path. And make sure you like this video if you enjoyed it so I can make more. Also, comment down below any videos that you want me to cover, as well as anything you may have learned from here. Let's get a discussion going. And I will see you guys in my next video. I love you all so very much, and stay wicked. Bye!